I just make a video saying, look at what we're making. Process. Let me know when you're starting.
I already started.
Oh, okay.
So here's the process of our pepperoni rolls.
We're not skimpy at all.
No.
And we do wash our hands and clean the tables really well and everything before we do this. So. And we don't touch anything else other than these ingredients while we're at the table. I roll them a little bit like that on the edges just to keep everything in. No, I like to rip it. It actually seems to stick better when you rip it, and it's not a perfectly cut edge. I'm gonna so slightly pinch this. And then I also like to try to even it. So this is before. I mean, it's still pretty big, but they get even bigger when they go in the proofer. So we'll egg wash from there and put on some Italian seasoning. And we'll go from there. So I just stretch it out. And this is fresh mozzarella that we use. We don't use like the slices or anything like that. We use fresh. We just try to cut it a little bit thinner. And we do the spread of garlic butter on this before we put the pepperoni on. So, I like to use fat pieces at the end. We just try to put it all throughout so that way every bite, every layer has a good chunk of pepperoni and a good bit of cheese in it. I mean, obviously the cheese melts and spreads, but these are definitely, you know, and I think the sale price on these, you know, being $7, that's a good deal for, I mean, you're getting a load of pepperoni, cheese, you know, you're getting the works here. So, and then you get our fresh made pasta sauce with a little side of it. And we also have that available to buy in like jars. Like if you want more. I plan on, for holidays, I plan on starting to make pepperoni rings as pre-orders. And it would be like literally like 2 to 3 of these put together and made into a ring and then cut with a big thing of marinara in the middle. I think that would be awesome for parties, honestly. I wanted to do it for Super Bowl. It's just with the buffalo chicken going so well and just regular pepperoni rolls going so well, I really just didn't have time. You know, because this dough has already been proofing for about an hour. So, hour and a half. It still has about another hour to proof before we even throw it in the oven. And then obviously this process is not something, you know, we don't have a machine here that does it. It's all done by hand. Each one is, you know, done individually. And we also have other things in the oven. Cinnamon rolls are actually in the proofer. So, yeah. And obviously with dough, with anything dough, you know, it has a mind of its own. It's a living entity. I mean, it's no different than like a plant or, you know, trees and stuff. Yeast, sometimes it grows great. Sometimes, you know, it takes a little extra time. Depends on weather, the climate, the humidity in here even. But even outside. I mean, we can have a climate-controlled setting here. You know, we have our heat and AC and everything. But the outside weather, you know, when the door opens and, you know, being by a window, being by, you know, above the oven, like, it all plays a role in this yeast and the dough rising. This is not, you know, this is definitely a skill that, I mean, you just need, you know, experience and, you know, practice with it to do it, but anyone can do dough. It's just time consuming, and a lot of people don't have proofers and stuff at home, and having a consistent temperature is a challenge. I know when I started this at home, I used to put dough like in a container, like in a bin, and put it on top of my dryer because I didn't have any other way, because, you know, putting it inside the oven, my warm setting would, you know, it's too warm for dough.
And start baking up.
Yeast, primarily, it dies at about 135, 138 degrees. It actually will die at that point. So that's a very low setting. It's very hard to hit that at home. I mean, you can have it cooler at home. You know, most people have like 68 as their temperature settings. It just takes a lot longer. It used to take me, 5 hours to make cinnamon rolls at home?
Yep.
6 hours?
Something like that.
Yeah, I would have to start really early. And that was just for making them at home for us.
Well, even whenever we used to go to farmers markets.
Yeah, it took a long time. I mean, and sometimes it would take longer. I mean, it would depend on, you know, because our dryer is kind of by our back door, so, you know, with the window and everything else, you know, sunlight, things like that, I mean, it was hard. In the winter, it was really hard.
Yep.
So, yeah. Here, it's obviously a lot easier. We had 2 health inspections so far, because I wasn't here, like we were closed while my hip and, you know, my other surgeries were going on. They had to make up for, you know, lost time. And the one gentleman that we had, the last one we had, you know, we had no violations, no nothing. Like they were actually really impressed with how everything was organized and color coded, and, you know, like our day dots, the labels are all like, seriously, everything has to be color coded because I'm OCD, and I can't have it any other way. But the guy, when he first came in, he said, he's not from, he's not my normal inspector. Mine is on vacation. And he said, you know, in my area, he said, there's you and North Hill that still do dough and stuff, like do everything by hand. He said, I have so much respect for you guys, because I go to a lot of quote unquote, they're called box bakeries. It's places like Acme, Giant Eagle, things like that, where everything really comes in frozen nowadays. But yeah, we do all this, I mean, every day by hand. And this is why we don't also, we haven't done DoorDash or anything yet. And it's important for me to let you guys know why. It's not because I don't want to. I'd love to. I think that'd be cool. It's another way for you guys to get our product. And, but, see, we never know. I mean, we have our pre-orders, and that's a godsend, because then we know, and we have it fresh, ready for you. We make it, you know, that's one of the first things we do when we get in here is we make pre-orders. But, you know, we don't know, you know, we have customers sometimes who come in and, you know, how many cinnamon rolls do you have? Well, we have, you know, this many. Well, I'd like them all. And if you were to get DoorDash, let's say, you know, at 11:30 in the morning, you would like 6 cinnamon rolls, you know, and at that very same moment, someone had come in and just bought them all, you might be waiting 3 to 4 hours for them. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to the customers here. I can't just tell people no when they come in for, you know, stuff. You know, our stuff does take a while. And being fresh has its pros and cons. Like, yeah, you know, it would be awesome to have everything already pre-done, but at the same time, it's like, this is a lost art. And I enjoy doing it this way, honestly. I like doing everything the hard way, quote unquote. You can ask John, because I have a push mower, like a real mower at home. I refuse to get a mower that starts up. And I use it here too. I do a lot of things old school. It's not just baking, but I really do. I enjoy working hard. I don't know. It's just.
That's also a lost art.
What, working hard?
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoy feeling accomplished. Like, it's not about anything else. It's just, I enjoy feeling like I'm being productive. And I like to have that sense of feeling accomplished and feeling like I've done something. So I enjoy baking and cooking. And at home I have over 100 herbs and spices. One of these days I'll have to share the picture that I have of my spice rack, because it's as tall as me. It needs to get bigger because I have some that aren't on the shelf that I just got. Alright, see, I mean, they are a little bit different size, but just so you know, like, they are all, that one might get some pepperoni. I don't want that pepperoni to come through. But, you know, they're all going to be a little bit different, but each one, as you've been watching, you know, they're loaded. I mean, we make sure that you're going to get your money's worth. And like I said, with dough, it's always a little bit, you know, it's going to come out different. They're going to be obviously a lot bigger and stuff, so. But, you know, the different shapes and everything. This is partially because it's handmade. You know, when you go to a grocery store and you see everything looks the same, a good example would be like Walmart's got those cheap little pies, those individual pies. And they're great because they're individual and, you know, something you could pack someone for lunch. My grandpa used to have a pail, lunch, he'd call it his pail, his lunch pail. And he always wanted 2 fried cherry pie things from the store. And, you know, they always look identical. They always look the same. They always weigh the same. They always, you know, but that's because it's all done by a machine. You know, nothing is actually really handled like this anymore. So, I think this is a good example. You know, same thing with cinnamon rolls. My husband rolled out the first part of the dough because I was at home trying to get a shower with my knee. And it took me a little while. So, he rolled out the first part of the dough. And, you know, his are a little bit more, you know, thick with dough. You know, he doesn't roll quite as thin as I do. You know, but this is why, you know, it's going to be unique when you come here for something. You know, everything is done like this. This is what we do. When I was cutting my cinnamon rolls, John was saying I'm like a machine, because I mean, I can do it really fast. But I'm still, it's not, there are imperfections, and you will not get an identical, it's kind of like a snowflake. You don't get 2 of the same kind. So, this is number 4.
I took care of the first pre-order.
There we go. There's first 4. I'm going to actually re-roll this dough, even though it's got some garlic butter on it, and I'll be able to make probably 2 more out of this. And, so yeah. This is a day in the life of the bakery. And like I said, 4 pepperoni rolls, and they'll all come out a little bit different shape, a little bit different weight. I mean, see, I can make this one a little bit fatter. Looks more like it, but you will never have 2 exactly the same. But I can promise you that with each item you get here, we make sure that, you know, every bite is, you know, the best possible. You're not going to get just dough. You're not going to get, you know, it's kind of like going to Taco Bell and getting sour cream on your taco, and they put it like just right in the middle, and you have one bite of just sour cream. We don't do that here. We make sure you're going to get the full pepperoni roll. You're not getting one pepperoni And these are not frozen. The dough is fresh. The pepperoni, the mozzarella, you know, the cheese and everything is all fresh. So, stop in or call and pre-order your pepperoni rolls and cinnamon rolls and everything else, and we'll have them here for you. And we're here until 2 today, and we will be here Sundays as always, our half-off days, and we will have everything but the fresh cinnamon rolls and stuff, like fresh pecan rolls, and then the pepperoni rolls that are fresh will not be half off. But everything else tomorrow, as always, is half off. One thing I wanted to touch on too is that you know, one of the reasons why we're only open 3 days a week right now is because if you haven't read the post yet, we made a post about what's been going on. So the universal bad luck I have, my knee, my right knee, felt like it had to crack, and I was standing there talking to John, and I'm like, it just feels like it's got to crack. And it did, and pop goes the weasel, there went my knee. So I'm getting an MRI next week. I am on crutches. I'm limping around too, but I'm on crutches. So we don't know what's going on with that. They did pull 15 times the normal amount, 30 cc's of fluid out of my knee yesterday. That's one of the reasons why we closed early. It was definitely sore, and I rested my leg the rest of the day. But the most important thing is that our son, Brandon, has a congenital hip condition that his hip and his femur are 40 degrees backwards, both sides. And this is why he can do things like cross his legs, like he's like hyperextending, and that's his normal. But he can't put his legs together. It's very painful. It would be like, the doctor said it'd be like us doing backwards things, you know, that like something backwards that we could normally do. Those are things he can do, and you know, and can't do. It's just opposite. So Monday, I'd love for him to go to Crystal Clinic, but they actually do not do this surgery. So Dr. Laskowski, my hip surgeon, gave us a surgeon who he went to medical school with, and he just actually went to UH, the main campus. His name is Dr. Wetzel. He will be doing Brandon's surgery on Monday. And also Dr. Salata will be fixing Brandon's labrum, because his labrum is torn on his left side. So that's why we're starting with his left leg. So what they'll do, the first surgeon will go in and will fix his torn labrum and do some damage control. It'll take about an hour and a half, like an hour to an hour and a half, they said. Then after that, Dr. Wetzel and his team will be going in, and they're actually going to take off part of his hip socket and twist it 40 degrees, and then screw it back in. And then after that, they will be putting in a femoral rod, and they can only twist his leg about 30 degrees because of his kneecap and the track. They don't want it to be too much for the track on his kneecap. So he'll only be 10 degrees off then. But when he wakes up, it'll be a total of 6 hours, the whole surgery. So when he wakes up, he will have one straight leg. Now they are doing a saddle block and stuff, and he won't be able to feel his legs for a while. He'll be in the hospital 3 to 5 days. So we will be at UH main campus in Cleveland for those couple days. And then we will start recovery at home. My mom, thankfully, God love her, she took vacation time to help when he comes home, so we can keep working. So I know that on the post we had said something about, you know, if you come out here to see us this weekend to buy stuff, you know, we love the patronage and, you know, your support, you know, and buying stuff and everything. But to be honest, if you know, it would mean the world to us if y'all just, when you come in, if you could give them some words of encouragement, that'd be awesome. You know, just, hey, hope everything goes well, you know, you're a rock star, whatever, you know, like, because I know he's nervous. He won't really talk much about it, but he is. He's going to have some friends come over tonight, and they're going to hang out, but you know, he's going to have to learn how to walk again, and it's going to be a challenge, really. So, 4, 6, 8. I try to give the same amount here. That one I just have to make sure. So if you guys do stop by this weekend, he's getting a COVID test today. He's got to get it for his surgery at UH Portage at 10:30. So I'm going to take him. We'll be leaving at 9:30. So, but if you see him, he'll be here tomorrow and stuff too. And we'll probably end up coming back here after his COVID test. So if you see him, please, 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 all we ask is that, you know, he could really use, you know, he's 16. This is going to be a huge surgery. You know, so if you guys are like family to us, and, you know, we try to be here for you guys, and, you know, and you guys have always been here for us. And, you know, we're just asking that you guys show him some love. I know he'll appreciate it more than anything. I know we do too, so if y'all could do that, it would be much appreciated. And next week, I do want to say that we don't know when he's coming home or how that's going to be. If he does, if he gets out on Friday, which I'm hoping they'll be able to give us an idea of when they're going to, you know, like some kind of estimate based on how the surgery went. I don't know when he'll be leaving. But if he were to get discharged on Friday, we may change our hours. Just to give everyone a heads up. Obviously, we don't know. So, as soon as we know, we try to let you guys know. But yeah, yesterday I actually had to go to the doctor and get my knee drained. So that's why we closed early. Wasn't going to bring it up, but I don't want anyone to be afraid that we're going to close again. Because I refuse to go down again. That emotionally killed me because I couldn't feel accomplished when I was sitting at home getting surgeries. So, I can't let that happen again. We won't let that happen again. But, Friday, if he were to get out Friday, I'm hoping they'll let him go on Thursday. But if they let him go on Friday, then we might have to close early or something to go get him, obviously. So, like I said, we'll let you know. But, thank you for watching my video. Pepperoni rolls. I never knew that people were going to like pepperoni rolls so much, or I would have started making them earlier. This dough, actually, if you would like to know what kind of dough I use for this, I use our braided bread recipe, the dough for this. So it's the same dough as our braided, literally same, I use that recipe. And that's the dough for a pepperoni roll. I think cinnamon roll dough would be a little bit too sweet. Whereas braided is a sweeter bread, but it does have like more salt and stuff in it, and it's not quite like a cinnamon roll. So, when you see braided bread, now you know that that's also my pepperoni rolls. So, I think that's all.
All right.
Fun. Come and stop by and get these. Like I said, they're only $7.
Yep.
And you get pasta sauce side with it, and you can always get a whole jar of pasta sauce. A lot of people like our pasta sauce. It is more kid friendly, but it's really easy to add on too. I like to put cayenne pepper and stuff in mine. I like to have a little bit of a kick. So, but our pasta sauce is very easy to kind of change up, and you can add your own and make it unique to you and what your family likes. So. See, and I won't like rip you off. See, I saw a spot that just didn't seem very cheesy. This is, you know, I don't make as much money as, you know, I could, per se, because, you know, I like to make sure that, you know, I know as a customer myself, I hate getting ripped off. I hate buying something and I'm like, oh, I didn't get anything for that. Like, I want to give you guys your money's worth, and I like to use the good stuff because that's what I do at home for my family, and you guys are like families. I mean, I'm not like super fancy, but I still like to use the best stuff I got. I mean, so, yeah, yeah, I think we're,
All right, guys. Hope to see you later.
yeah, 7 to 2.
Yep, we'll be here.